Kilala nyo ba si Carl Rogers? Kung hindi nyo kilala, eto ipapakilala ko sa inyo. Ang buong pangalan ni Carl Rogers, Ransom Rogers. Kilala siya bilang founder ng Humanistic Psychology at Client-Centered Therapy. Si Carl Rogers ay pinanganak noong January 8, 1902 sa Oak Park, Illinois. Sa kasamaang palad, namatay siya noong February 4, 1987 sa La Jolla, California sa edad naman na 85 years old. Si Carl Rogers ay anak ni Walter Rogers at ni Julia Cushing Rogers at pang-apat siya sa 6 na magkakapatid. Nag-aral siya ng elementary sa Oak Park, Illinois kung saan din siya pinanganak. Noong high school naman, nag-aral si Rogers 45 miles palayo sa Chicago at nung college naman siya, pumasok siya sa University ng Wisconsin bilang agriculture major. Taong 1924, pumasok si Rogers sa Union Theological Seminar sa New York at nagbaka sakaling makapasok at makasama bilang isang minister. Nag-enroll siya sa Psychology and Education courses sa kalapit nitong bayan sa Columbia University. Kaparehas na taong 1924, nakilala ni Carl Rogers si Helen Elliot na pinakasalan niya rin kalaunan. Nagkaroon sila ng 2 anak. Ang panganay nila ay pinangalan ng David na later on naging physician. Yung daughter naman nila, ang pangalan ay Natalie na kalaunan naman ay naging art therapist. So, si Carl Rogers pati yung mga anak niya nagtrabaho din connected sa medical field. Taong 1926, umalis si Rogers dun sa seminary sa New York at pumasok siya bilang full-time teacher sa Teachers College na may major na clinical at educational psychology. Lumipat ang pamilya ni Carl Rogers sa Rochester noong 1928. Dito niya na pinagpatuloy ang pagtatrabaho bilang psychologist. Tapos later on, taong 1930, dito na siya nagkaroon ng professional career bilang isang director ng Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children.
Noong 1940, tinanggap niya ang posisyon bilang isang clinical psychology professor sa Ohio State University. He conceptualized his own idea on psychotherapy, not intending them to be unique and controversial. Itong mga idea na ito ay napasama sa counseling and psychotherapy na napublish noong 1942. At nakakuha siya ng posisyon sa University of Chicago kung saan nag-establish siya ng counseling center na inaalaw ang paggawa ng pananaliksik patungkol sa proseso at outcome ng psychotherapy. Ang therapy ay umiikot sa isang method na tinawag noong early 1940s na non-directive technique, kung saan mas in-emphasize nito ang client-therapist relationship. Ang kanyang theory ay mas napalawak ang na-express sa client-centered therapy noong 1951 at sa coach series noong 1959. He was the first president of the American Association for Applied Psychology at tinulungan ng ang organisasyon na ito at ang organisasyon ng American Psychological Association to be reunited. Also, he served as the president of APA for the year 1946 and 1947 at nag-serve din siya as first president of American Academy of Psychotherapy. Si Carl Rogers din ang nag-develop sa humanistic theory of personality na nag-grow out of his experience as a practicing psychotherapist. He was more concerned about with helping people than with discovering why they behave as they did. Rogers built his theory on scaffold provided by his experience as a therapist. Unlike most of these other theories, however, he continually called for empirical research to support both his personality theory and his therapeutic approach. His personal preference was to be a helper of people and not a constructor of theories. To him, it seemed to make things too cold and external, and he worried that His theory might imply a measure of finality. Isa sa kanyang theory ay ang self-actualization theory. Naniniwala si Roger na ang bawat isa ay may likas na pagnanais na lumago, makamit ang kanilang buong potensya. Ang isa sa mga pangunahing salik na nag-uudyok sa pag-uugali ng sinabi niya ay ang pagnanais na maabot ang self-actualization. Ano nga ba ang self-actualization? Ito ay ang panghabang buhay na proseso ng pagpapanatili at pagpapahusay ng konsepto sa sarili ng individual sa pamamagitan ng pagmumuni-muni, muling pagpapakahulugan ng karanasan na nagpapahintulot sa individual na makabawi, umunlad, magbago at lumago. Self-actualization ay isang subset ng overall organismic actualizing tendency and begins with the infant learning to differentiate what is self, what is other, within its total perceptual field as their full self-awareness gradually crystallize. According to Rogers, the organism has one basic tendency and striving to actualize, maintain, and enhance the experiencing organism.
The self and self-actualization. According to Rogers, on 1959, infants begin to develop a vague concept of self when a portion of their experiences becomes personalized and differentiated awareness as I or me experiences. Self-actualization is the tendency to actualize self as perceived in awareness. And according to Rogers, self has three aspects. First is the real self, second is the perceived self, and the third one is the ideal self. What is the real self? Real self is the self-worth, also known as self-esteem, what we think about ourselves. Rogers believes it develops in early childhood and get influenced by our parents. The second one is the self-concept. Self-concept is the self-image, how we see ourselves, all those aspects of one's being and one's experiences that are perceived in awareness by the individuals. The last aspect is the ideal self. Ideal self is the person that we would like to be. Also defined as one's view of self as one wishes to be. The ideal self contains all those attributes, usually positive, that people aspire to possess.
Incongruence is part of Rogers' formulation of the conditions necessary for clients to change. It's the first condition. And incongruence is a state of being out of match with yourself, of being out of touch with your emotions, of being cut off in terms of not communicating to other people what your experience is, of not knowing who you are. And in Rogers' formulation, this generates distress or anxiety. So this is the starting condition. It's really what motivates the client to seek counseling or therapy and causes them pain. It's a source of pain.
American psychologist Carl Rogers was another pioneer of humanistic theory who proposed a person-centered perspective on personality. Like Maslow, Rogers believed we're all basically good eggs so long as we're nurtured in a growth-promoting environment that he thought required three conditions. The first is genuineness, just the idea that parents and teachers should be transparent and open with their feelings. Then there's acceptance. When folks are accepting, people around them won't be afraid to be themselves or make mistakes. And the third requirement, according to Rogers, is empathy, or the ability to share others' feelings and reflect their meanings. Rogers thought of these traits as the nutrients required to make a personality grow into a healthy self-concept, that mix of thoughts and feelings that answer the fundamental question, who am I? So psychoanalytic and humanistic theories of personality were and are incredibly influential, even if one was a little sordid and the other a little sunshine and rainbows. But they didn't always lend themselves to clear measurement, and as empirical standards began to take hold in the mid-20th century, this became a major concern.